you guys doing today? My name is Anima, and today we have a post-commentated Pokemon X and Wi-Fi battle for you all, this time against Josh, otherwise known as IPoke Shuckles, here on YT. And his YouTube link will be in the description down below. This man destroyed my behind the last time that we fought. It was a UU tier match, and he kicked my bum. I have mixed feelings about this, and so does my bum. If my bum had feelings... I should stop saying bum so much. Then it would also be expressing some, negativity, I'd say. Probably not mixed, probably quite thoroughly, straightforward negativity towards the situation. And honestly, I'm still recovering. I have to do stretches like every day. It's very, very hard. It's very, very difficult and embarrassing, in fact. So we have a mixed tier situation here. Maximum of 3 OU Pokemon present on each team, which is extremely nice to see. Claydol, you're odd. You're an odd one. I don't think you have a place in this team, but I love you anyway. You're pretty damn cool. Actually, I think it has a place in this team, but in the light of my opponent's team with so many threats to Claydol, specifically Claydol, as you look at this, ridiculous. All of those things basically have a move to hit Claydol, potentially have a move to hit Claydol super effectively. Ah, crikey Moses. Anyway, so his wall core is very, very upsetting for me. I'm not sure if the Frostlass was built like a wall, but its typing and stuff just fucks me over. And the Ferrothorn and the Rotomwash and the Frostlass, very, very irritating things indeed. And I'm not completely sure what the Pupitar was about. Perhaps an Eviolite set, but you're going to see. So I want you guys to sit back and enjoy the show. It is going to be quite the doozy, ladies and gentlemen. So I decided to lead with Raikou because I do have a good matchup against most things on the field, as my opponent leads with his Scrotum. Now, not often, that's not usually the way I would greet a lady, but whatever, it's your decision, my friend. I do decide to go straight for the Aura Sphere. I am not going to go for electric-type moves with a basic Manectric on the field, because of the Lightning Rod. I do not want that thing special attack going up any higher, no siree, Bob. But to my, luck, he switches out the Pupitar, which is extremely, extremely nice. I didn't see this coming. I just went for the Aura Sphere on the off chance that Manectric was going to switch in and I could at least do some good damage to it. I went for the Aura Sphere again, not wanting to overpredict at this stage, and still deathly afraid of going for the electric type move, because if that were me I would have gone into the Manectric and I would have got hit with an Aura Sphere, so who's the better player? I just don't know. I do decide to go straight into my Arcanine as my opponent puts up a layer of spikes. Now this is a pain in the B, this is a pain in the B-hole, this is a pain in the B, just general the letter B. Yes, very painful indeed. And he switches out, going into his Pupitar to take the incoming Flamethrower, which I do in fact go for. So this is a bit of a bummer. You need to stop talking about bums, good grief. I should substitute it for another word. And it takes it extremely well, and it's very, very, very sad indeed. But I do go for the Will-O-Wisp, just nerfing this thing, just kind of neutering it, just in case it wants to go for DDs and all that stuff. Goes for the Earthquake, and this does a good amount of damage, considering that's not Stab, it's a Pupitar. And I've got some decent physical bulk, so this is very sad. This is actually my especially defensive Matilda. I have a pure physical defensive one, and like a slightly mixed, but more on the side of especially defensive Matilda. And you only find out when it's actually in the battle, so... Goes to the second Earthquake, and there's not really... I could have just sat there and stalled for Morning Sun, but I was like, I'm not that guy. So I just went for the Flamethrower just to kind of get it over with quicker. Because I don't really like stalling, I don't really like doing it, like, unless I have to, and I didn't really have to. But he makes a great play here. He sends out his Rotom and doubles out into the Ferrothorn as I switch out myself, going into Gastrodon, I believe, to take the predicted Hydro Pump. So that was an excellent play on his behalf. Honestly, really, really good. So out comes Gastrodon. And this thing, I'm scared. There's nothing I can really do. And the more I switch, the more I get punished by the spikes. So this is very sad indeed. I need to get my Caesar in here to go for the Defog. I go for the Yawn, thinking if he has Power Up, he's probably not going to go for it. He's probably going to go for Leech Seed or something, and that's precisely what happens. So that was good. That was kind of good, but he is going to sap some of my Slug's health, which is just kind of sad. But Bubbles is a real pain in the urethra this battle, and you are going to see that shortly. Do not underestimate the power of Gastrodon. It is a fucking demon. It takes stuff, it folds it over its knee, it doesn't even have knees, and it folds it over its knee. That's how much you should be afraid. Does switch out the Ferrothorn, not wanting to be put to sleep, and goes out into the Rotom. And see what I mean by I can't really... I want to get in my Claydol to go for a rapid spin. That's what I want to do. That's all I need. That's all I want. Okay? So... But I can't, so I've got to switch out Ocha as he brings out the Ferrothorn. And we are at this bloody match again, so he's very, you know, I've not been as brave with my double switches lately. I don't know why I'm going through some sort of timid period. I don't feel like I'm playing as strongly as I normally do. So it's a bit iffy for me, but we all get these things. We all get periods where we're not really quite completely on point, and I'm feeling that right now. So if you want to win, just challenge me, I guess. So I am going to get hit by the spikes, and yeah, I just thought I need to switch in this thing. I need to pressure it, like, immediate. So he goes to the Leech Seed, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't have Power Whip or anything at this point, so I'm feeling less afraid of him with my Gastrodon. And I think if I can get a Storm Drain from the Rotom or something like that, then we are going to be looking at a very happy situation. But in case he did go for the Protect, in case he did go for any shenanigans like that, I went for the Morning Sun, thinking he can't really touch me, and I'm seeded anyway. So if he's not really going to attack me, he's going to switch out at that point if he was going to. So he got a cheeky little Protect off there, but it didn't do much because I managed to get back to good health, and switches out into the Rotom as I go for a Will-O-Wisp. So this is fine, I did predict the outswitch, but I don't feel confident in Matilda taking a Hydro Pump from this thing. So this is a very difficult situation indeed to be in, between a rock and a hard place, because his walls are excellent checks to mine. So this is very upsetting. I've been finding this a lot too, where the wall situation is just like these two walls, like just like it's like a really stupid battle. But now he does go for the Hydro Pump and hits my little bubbles, and we are gonna get that Storm Drain, which is absolutely super, in fact. So very nice. And we're okay, we're at +1 special attack, and this is great, this is super. So he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, and just to get some residual damage, this is a good play because he cannot touch me otherwise, unless he's like secretly packing Leaf Storm or something. But that's the thing, I went for the Yawn just in case he switched out. I can't status this thing obviously because it is burnt, but I'm going to go for the double Yawn here, just to catch something. And he could have predicted that, but either way he had to move. Because he can't touch me, really. I mean, he could be stubborn, but it would just take me going for any attacking move, and I'd start to chip away at him. So he goes to the Ferrothorn, and the Ferrothorn is going to get yawned at very exuberantly by my Sea Slug, which is super nice. And this, I was a bit disconcerted if he was going to go for the Leech Seed, because that would mean a lot of residual damage on me, and I think that he should have gone for it, but whatever, he doesn't have like 10 brains. I go for the Recover just to beef myself up a bit, and just kind of counteract the burn somewhat, as he goes for the Stealth Rock, choosing this as his move to fall asleep to. And this is okay, this is alright. Yeah, this is okay, this is alright. And at this point, I have no reason to switch out. This thing does not have Power Whip. It would have gone for it. I'm not afraid of it. I just have to damage it now. So I go for the Earth Power, and I get the Special Defense drop, which is very, very nice. It is going to motivate him to switch next turn. He is snoozing away, and for once, this is great. I love it when things are asleep and not resting. Rest is a real don't like that. No, please don't. But, I mean, no, whatever, run what you want. Run what you want. It's just one of those things that I don't like facing. It's there, but I don't like facing it. Goes into the Croconaw here. I think just trying to think of something that won't take this Earth Power very badly. And he wants to keep his Rotom at decent health for the rest of my team. So the Croconaw is going to take a lot of damage from the +1 Earth Power. And this is kind of just like fine, but I do get the special D-drop, so he can't sit around and do anything anyway. And honestly, there's not really much it can do to touch me, because I think Feraligator's move pool is fairly limited. I mean, it could go for Crunch, I think. It could go for Crunch. I'm basing it off of Feraligator's move pool because I don't know Croconaw's as well by comparison. And obviously I have Storm Drain, so any of his water attacks will not affect me whatsoever. So the Ferrothorn is going to come in and take another Earth Power. And this is just kind of fine. This is kind of fine. But I do see this as my opportunity to go into my Claydol and get rid of these rocks. They're really bugging me. They are really, really bugging me. I mean, get rid of the spikes, get rid of the hazards. Because now there's a lot of hazardy shizer on my side of the field, and I need to get rid of that noise. He is going to withdraw and go into his Frostlass, the spin blocker. But at this point, I actually went for the Stealth Rock, just kind of seeing the Frostlass a bit too late and going, oh I probably should have just Earth Powered some more. But we are going to get these rocks up, and this is very nice because he is switching a lot, and who can blame him because there are no hazards on his side of the field punishing this. Going to go for the Shadow Ball, and that is going to do a moderate to too much amount of damage to me. And I was like, yeah, Earth Power! Super effective. No. Didn't do much at all. So I want to preserve Ocho because I want to be able to get a rapid spin off at another point, so I switch out into Scab, my Caesar, and this one is actually offensive. Scab is offensive, Blister is specially defensive. Or are they? I'm going to switch them around just to fuck with everybody's minds. So it goes to the Ice Beam, thankfully not going for the Shadow Ball, but I thought that Scab could take it anyway. So that's alright. I do go for the Pursuit here, predicting him to want to preserve this Frost Sash to Spin Block, and it's amazing. Choice Banded Pursuit, it doesn't have a chance of surviving. Never used the Choice Banded Caesar before, let me tell you. Let me tell you, my lords and ladies, it is a refreshing experience. It is very nice indeed. So I can't actually do anything because I'm cursed bodied. So I can't even hit this thing with a Pursuit even if I wanted to, so I do switch out and I go back into Ocho, go back into my Claydol to try and get rid of these hazards. For God's sake, need to get rid of these hazards. Now that the ghost is dead, I can actually do that. I can actually go for that stuff. Goes to the Leech Seed, and Claydol does outspeed Ferrothorn because Ferrothorn is slow as balls. And that's not really that bad a thing for it because they do run Gyro Ball. Stab Gyro Ball with the slowness of this creature is honestly just absolutely abysmal. Yes sirree, damn! So, I wanted to go for the Rapid Spin here, but I thought Protect is coming. Protect is bloody coming. So I go into Scab actually. And the reason I went into Scab is because a superpower, a choice banded superpower from Scab is going to hit and hurt everything. It is going to hurt so much, so I did decide to go for that superpower, and because it's super effective, of course, it's going to take out the Ferrothorn. So I went into Caesar, not into my Arcanine instead, to make this happen. So that's all right, and it is a double down, but that's not actually too bad because I can just go into whatever, because we are both blind, so that's fine. It's not like anybody's going to get switch initiative. So Raikou is fast, so I do decide to go into it, him, her, Raikou, nice bum. As he goes out into Croconaw, and this is okay, but I'm still afraid of going for T-Bolt because I do not want that Manectric to be any stronger. I really don't. But I go for the Aura Sphere here, and it's not going to be enough to kill, telling me this thing is most certainly Eviolite. There's absolutely no reason why you would run a Croconaw over for Alligator, because for Alligator is NU, unless it's been bumped up. But he does make the smart play and go for the Dragon Dance, never going into the Manectric, not once actually, which leads me to think it may not be Lightning Rod. But either way, he was very successful in his endeavours. And he's still not faster than Raikou after +1 because Croconaw is slow. So he has to go for the Aqua Jet. So it's okay. I was fine to go for the Aura Sphere. And there wasn't really an awful lot my opponent could do. He goes out into Raikou, the Manectric at last. Going into this thing, and I've been afraid of this thing since the dawn of time probably. I'm just going to go for the Aura Sphere again, because it never misses. And this thing is going to be able to kill me with a flamethrower because it does outspeed. It outspeeds naturally, and my Raikou is not timid, it is rash, I think. It's a nature that boosts special attack and not speed. And because it's the event one with Aura Sphere, so I go into Bubbles, and I know that if he doesn't have HP Grass, he has to have either HP Grass or HP Ice, and if he has either one of those, another one of my Pokemon will be safe. I think was the logic there. Not really, Claydol would die. But it turns out he has HP Ice, and that's actually the strongest move he has to hit me with. So, because it's the only move that isn't resisted or I'm immune to. So, Bubbles being fortunate, because HP Ice is usually the most common move on Manectrics. So, he goes for the HP Ice, and at this point, I didn't want to be cruel, but I just went for a Recover. Just to kind of, yeah, just to kind of seal the deal. And, it wasn't like I wanted to stall specifically, because if I didn't go for the Recover, then the Rotom would have been able to do something to me potentially. And yeah, this was just kind of the best thing I could do. And he does decide to forfeit there and then. That doesn't mean that he is not a good player or anything like that, because he's really good. You saw he made some really good double switches, really good messing about with my walls and stuff. He did very, very well. And he tore me a noose the last time I battled him. It was just terrifying. There was a bit of hacks though, but I mean, so it was like a bit questionable, the quality, but that does not take away from his ability to play. He's bloody amazing. He's really, really good. So please check out IPoke Shuckles. Really good battler. So guys, if you liked this video, you know what I'm going to say, leave a like if you are so inclined, because your likes, your support is, as always, super appreciated. Don't know why I went mega Asian just then. I am Asian, but that was just a bit too much. Answer the security, duh, which is going to be, if you were a sword, what type of sword would you be? Scratch that. If you were a weapon, like a, if you were a weapon, what kind of weapon would you be? Now, don't answer this if you don't want to. This isn't to do with like destructive purposes, but more like a personality-ish type thing. So I would say for me, I mean, you can be as technological or as like medieval as you want. You can even say club, but quite simply. But just consider it, answer in as much or as little detail as you would like. For me personally, I think I would either be a broadsword or a what's something, either a broadsword or a shotel. Anyone who's played Dark Souls will be like, you fucking... yeah, or Dark Souls PvP specifically. But look up a shotel if you don't know what it is. It's like a, I think it's an African weapon. It's like a crescent sword, so it goes up like this and then does this, and the design behind it was that it was meant to hook around shields and be able to stab around from there. So that's what I think I'd be. So like in terms of explaining that, that's like, I'm not a brute force kind of person. I'd probably rather like to go around and hit, like focus on, if it was like an enemy or something, focus on where they're weaker, or if I needed to win somebody, I would try to make them feel valued at a place they want to feel valued, that kind of thing. And a broadsword just because, which is like the adverse side of that, in that I'm quite, when not in that kind of situation anyway, they're quite different weapons, I think. I quite like to prefer to be just sort of direct and just kind of like bang, bang, bang. So in a way, both weapons are quite direct. I don't like messing about. I do like kind of being like that about things. But yeah, guys, if you find the QT annoying, obviously you don't have to answer them. But they're just meant to be a little bit more thought-provoking than the average. Not that saying that I'm some kind of fucking philosopher over here, but you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Yes, and then subscribe if you haven't already, because it would be an absolute pleasure to have you here, girls and boys. Nowhere near G enough to do that, nowhere near black enough to pull that off either. But more importantly, the likes, commenters, and subscribes is for you all. Take care of yourselves, please. Be good or be bad, whatever you prefer. And I will see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye!